Welcome to The Explainer, everyone. Today, we're taking a close look at a serious, professional-grade solution to that slow, hidden infrastructure decay that's probably happening inside your home right now. Think of it kind of like a much-needed medical checkup, but for your plumbing. By the end of this explainer, you're going to know exactly what to expect before, during, and after the pros arrive to give your pipes a total reset.
Look, we have all been there. You're standing at the kitchen sink, or maybe you're in the shower, and the water is just pooling. It is not draining. Or maybe you're noticing some, unexplainable odors wafting from the drain. Or you've got reoccurring backups totally disrupting your day. It's not just an annoyance, right? It's actually a persistent infrastructure failure. And let me tell you, if recurring clogs are driving you crazy, pouring those harsh chemicals down the drain and just hoping for a miracle, well, it's just not going to solve the root problem here.
So, enter the ultimate professional cure, hydrojetting. Basically, this is a highly effective process specifically designed to clear out all that stubborn built-up debris from your drain lines or sewer pipes. We're talking about grease that's literally solidified over years, hard scale, and those really stubborn mineral deposits. And the mechanism they use to clear it all out? High-pressure water. It's honestly like an intensive power wash for your home's internal plumbing. It definitively resets the whole system.
Okay, let's dive into this. We've got a really straightforward, four-step chronological roadmap today. First, the stubborn clog solution. Second, assessment and safe preparation. Third, the hydrojetting process. And finally, cleanup and post-appointment care.
So, starting with part 1, the stubborn clog solution, diagnosing the plumbing pain points.
When the crew actually arrives, they're kind of going to play doctor for a minute. They need to review exactly what led you to call them in the first place, looking for those classic red flags. You know, slow drains that just test your patience, repeated clogs that bounce right back after you thought you fixed them, foul odors that just won't go away, and of course, recurring backups. These severe symptoms usually point to deep accumulated grease and scale buildup. And honestly, a standard household plunger is simply never going to fix that. Moving on to part 2. Assessment and safe preparation, the meticulous setup phase. Now, this preparation phase is all about precision. There is absolutely zero guessing involved here. After that initial symptom review we just talked about, the technicians will usually send a specialized camera right down into your plumbing. It's actually brilliant because it allows them to visually locate the exact blockage, measure the precise distance to it, and crucially, assess the actual structural condition of your pipes. Once they know exactly what they're dealing with, they'll secure the work area and start setting up their equipment right at the cleanout or access point.
Now, you might be wondering, okay, so what's my role in all this? Well, the technicians are going to keep you in the loop so there are no surprises. During the setup, depending on how your specific plumbing is laid out, they might ask you to briefly limit your water use. Or, they might ask you to keep certain fixtures closed off while they secure the system. It's just a very small, temporary step, but it ensures the entire process is safe, contained, and completely ready to go before the jetting even begins.
All right, part 3, the hydrojetting process, the high-pressure action. The execution here is highly targeted. They don't just blast water blindly and hope for the best. They access the pipe via a cleanout using these specialized hoses. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the targeted selection that happens next. The operator carefully selects a specific nozzle and a tailored pressure setting based entirely on your home's exact pipe size and the specific type of buildup they saw in that camera. Then they run the high-pressure water systematically, constantly monitoring the flow to make sure the obstruction is breaking apart and managing the discharge cleanup.
Once they dial in those perfect settings, that high-pressure water vigorously scours the inside walls of your plumbing. I mean, it's not just poking a tiny hole through a blockage, it's actively peeling away years of hardened deposits and thick grease. It completely flushes all of that loosened material right out of the line. And because they chose the correct pressure settings for your specific pipes, they get this incredibly deep clean without putting any unnecessary stress on older or maybe somewhat compromised plumbing sections. And this brilliantly illustrates the night and day difference. Think about the messy before state, a pipe totally choked with mineral deposits and grease, leading to those awful slow flows and backups. But post-treatment, that exact same pipe is stripped back to beautifully scoured walls. All the debris is flushed away, the full diameter of the pipe is restored, and normal flow is completely back in action. Plus, if they used a camera earlier, the tech will often recheck the line afterward just to document this completely satisfying, pristine condition for you. Finally, we arrive at part 4, cleanup and post-appointment care, keeping your drains clear. A solid, reputable crew is never just going to pack up and leave a huge mess behind.
They actively manage any discharges and meticulously clean up the access area. But before they head out, they're going to give you a bit of a post-appointment prescription. Basically, they'll tell you to avoid heavy water use for a really short window. More importantly, they'll remind you to adopt some drain-friendly habits to prevent reaccumulation. That means absolutely never flushing non-debris items down the toilet and keeping grease far, far away from your sink. And hey, if that initial camera inspection found an underlying issue, like a cracked pipe causing the buildup, they'll recommend the right repairs or a preventative plan so you can stay ahead of the problem.
You know, understanding this whole meticulous process really just removes the mystery of maintaining our homes, right? It gives us a super clear view of how these complex internal systems actually function, and honestly, it makes you wonder, what other hidden infrastructure in our homes is quietly building up to a breaking point, just waiting for a high-pressure reset? So, is your plumbing ready for a reset? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and we will catch you next time.